Speaking at a webinar in the run-up to the country's next budget, Research Director at Verite Research, Deshaldi Mel, says that revenue enhancement measures such as tax increases will be critical. However, they will need to be carefully calibrated to ensure no additional pressures are placed on production and investment attractiveness.
I would think the best way to address that is to focus on measures that improve the tax base and less so in terms of increasing rates, at least in the short term. One way that we could look at this is to look at it progressively over a 3-year period, where in the immediate instance, so from January 2022 or even immediately with the budget, you could look at reducing the thresholds of, say, VAT. So VAT, the threshold was increased from 12 million rupees to 300 million rupees per annum. So that can be reduced even in the first year, even down from 300 million to 150 million. Likewise for personal income taxes as well. There also in the first year itself, you could reduce the threshold that was increased quite significantly to around 3 million rupees per annum. That can also be reduced back down to a lower level, and that can result in an improved tax base without necessarily increasing the tax rates.
In addition, Demel also suggested that the government look at the possibility of introducing indexation of alcohol and tobacco taxation, given the fact that the state lost 20 billion rupees in a single year due to its non-implementation.
Another measure that can be introduced in the short term is for indexation of alcohol and tobacco taxation. So Verite has done a study that demonstrated that in just 1 year, by failing to implement indexation of tobacco taxes, the opportunity lost in terms of tax revenue was around 20 billion Sri Lankan rupees.
Demel also showed that it may be possible to raise VAT rates by 2023 or 2024, as the economy would have had sufficient time to recover to some extent by then.
By 2023, 2024, the rates of VAT can also be further enhanced, particularly because by then the economic recovery would have had a better hold and the momentum would have set in. So Sri Lanka's current VAT rate is 8%. That is very low by our regional peer comparisons and also low by Sri Lanka's historical standards as well.
Demel also showed that currently Sri Lanka's corporate income tax system has a lot of concessionary rates, which he says should look to revert back to a 3-tier rate by about 2023.
Immediate changes to the corporate income tax rates might create some negative or disruptive impacts on the incentive for investment and consumption. But again, going forward, if you look at Sri Lanka's regular tax rate of 24% for corporate income taxes, that is pretty much in line with the median range for our peer economies as well. So really, Sri Lanka's issue on corporate taxes is more to do with the significant level of divergences that we have from the regular rate. So we have a lot of concessionary tax rates. One suggestion is that by, say, January 2023, we could shift to a system where you revert to a 3-tier corporate income tax rate of 24% as your regular rate, 14% as your concessionary rate, and 40% as your top rate that is applicable to sectors such as alcohol, tobacco, and gaming. There will be a critical element in terms of the upcoming 2022 budget. But at the same time, we are all aware that the Sri Lankan economy is still kind of recovering from the pandemic-related stresses. So any revenue enhancement measures, particularly through taxation, needs to be quite carefully calibrated so that it doesn't create disincentives against the production process and new investments, consumption, and so on.
Sunsilk ලොකු බෝතලේ සේදුම් වාර 30. රුපියල් 16 ක ඉතිරියක්.